Welcome to another AVConnect training video. Today we'll be looking at roles. The objectives here are to define roles, explain how to use a role, and how to configure a role. What is a role? In its simplest form, roles can be thought of as physical spaces, something like a box office or a phone room. It could be a donation department. But one thing to remember here is that you can only be at one place at one time, so you select one role. So when you're logging in, you choose a role, and this is what you use throughout your transactions. So naturally, this comes into something that's reporting based. It's reporting on the physical space that you're located in. So you can report upon how many tickets are sold through the box office, how many tickets are sold through the phone room, how many tickets are sold through an outlet. But then layered on top of this are selling functions within the physical spaces. What am I capable of doing within that space? For instance, when you're in the phone room, are you capable of taking cash? Do you have the ability to immediately print? These are some of the considerations that are made when looking at the physical space that you're in the role controlling what actions you're able to perform in the system. So let's look at what this means using roles. So in the reporting sense, when you're using a role, it's location-based. Sales reporting, you can think of it as sales channel. You can think of it as a department. And you can be very concise with your reporting here. Look at something that's detailed. Be very broad or narrowed with your reporting. Broadly looking at each individual location, but narrowly looking at the particular departments. We can look at some examples here. Looking at this particular report, we can see an example of outputting by user role name, so outputting by individual roles. So we're looking at here the box office administrator has sold 45 tickets, internet has sold 15 tickets, and phone sales has sold 10 tickets. So we're reporting upon smaller pieces within the box office, so distinguishing titles or duties or roles, if you will, within the box office to get our numbers. But if we look at another example here, we'll see that it's by role group. So we're taking the numbers from the box office administrator and the phone sales, and we're combining those together, rolling them as just into box office. And then we still have internet being broken out. So this can be grown out or as much as you wish. So we can do something like a role group of group sales, and there could be a group sales team, or that group sales can be rolled into the box office. It's for a higher sense of reporting, a more of an executive level sense of reporting, taking a look at what departments are pulling in the tickets, where the money's coming in from particular areas. Whereas reaching out into the role looks at what's happening within a particular box office. Is things coming through the Windows sales versus the phone sales or the box office sales? What's happening with this particular performance? This is only one piece of the purpose of the role. The other piece is access. So it's looking at something like when can a user sell an item? When is a performance on sale? When's a miscellaneous item on sale? When's a gift on sale? Is it on sale to everybody in the box office or just a particular department? How can a user receive tickets through email, mail? Can tickets be printed right away? How can tickets be purchased, be paid for? Through cash, through a credit card, through check. This could be limited by who's using the system. And then, of course, even just something like how many tickets can somebody's receive, limits on how many tickets they can purchase. So these are some of the things that they're allowed access to. So here we can see an example of what access can look like. We're taking a look here now at some performance configuration at what we call the performance calendar. The calendar is where we define when a performance is on sale to a particular role. So in this example here we see two columns. One is calendar and the other one is sale. So calendar is when the performance is appearing to that particular role. When is it available to see that performance is coming up? And then sale is when are you able to actually access that performance? Are you able to actually sell tickets to that performance? So in this case, we see the phone sales and Windows sales are on sale and off sale at a particular time. the internet sales are off. That's a little bit different there. It goes off sale earlier, and then we see box office administrator having the most access. So on the calendar, we have the ability to control when a particular role or a particular group of people have access to a performance. When setting up your roles and deciding which roles that you need, here are some things to consider. The where am I? What payment methods do I need where I am? What delivery methods do I need? What venues can I edit? What can I sell? And when can I sell it? And this is based upon where are you? Are you at an outlet? Are you in a foam room? The other thing to consider is my job level. Does my job level affect my pricing? Do I have inventory restrictions based upon who I am? Do I have access to particular holds? And how do I find something? Does my role dictate how I can find something? So for instance, development may have a different way of finding customers than the box office would. Now that we know what a role is and the concepts behind roles, let's look at configuration. We're going to look at some examples of roles as well as building out a role in application security. We're going to do this fairly quickly and just kind of run through it. Roles are needed prior to building out anything else in the application. So before you build out performances, before you build out your pricing, before you build out your delivery methods and payment methods, your roles need to be defined. But they just need to be defined, and we can go in after the fact and actually edit those roles and add additional configuration to them. And we'll have another video with this additional configuration solely on roles and their detailed configuration. So now basic configuration. So the first place to start is application security. So we'll click on this and then we'll see the third one down on the left hand side is roles. We'll click on that. And this is where we can search. We can search for different roles that we've configured already in the system. If you do have the preloads, you probably have some of these already. And if you're established, you have some here as well. So some examples that we can see here. So we can see some examples here of box office administrator, group sales, internet kiosk, migration, phone sales, scanning user, view only, so people who don't actually have access, and window sales. But for our cases here, we're going to create new. So the first thing you want to do is give your role a name. So we're going to say for something like outlet, and we're going to give it a role group. So this is how we do the roll up reporting. So it's going to be retail outlet. We're going to put in an offer timeout. So this is how long that your shopping cart will last for. So how long, if you have tickets sitting in your shopping cart, will the tickets be there until they're automatically released. Even though it is in the desktop, this is still the case. So typically 20 minutes is good. Next we have things like the reservation valid until. We don't need to really worry about that right now. But the card limit, failure limit, that's something easily to put in. I would recommend 4 here. That's basically the number of times somebody can enter in a declined card and just continue hitting apply until the system tells them not to do that anymore. So next we have a few defaults that you can put in. Default articles, your price type, delivery method, payment method, invoices, your options here. These are more detailed configuration we'll get to in a later date. But right now we'll just put not verified in allowed address state. Here we can suppress any warning messages that are popping up and you want to suppress at this time. We can put in our available users into that particular role and restrict venues for that particular role at this time. Again, that's more complex configuration. So we'll just leave that for now, and then we just go down and we press apply, and that is it, and we've created our role. And so at this time, I'd like to say thank you and try it yourself.